Calling all technology coaches. Join Fort Edge this summer for a 2-day coaches camp packed with high-quality professional development exclusively for you. Attendees will work with like-minded coaches on creating strategies for teacher relationships, executing coaching cycles, and building a culture of coaching and tech integration within their school or district. There are 2 opportunities to attend Coaches Camp this summer. Join us either June 25 and 26 in New Orleans prior to ISTE 2022 or in Cincinnati on July 28 and 29. Please visit fort-edge.net/coachcamp to reserve your spot today.
Hit the restart button. We're right there to recharge those batteries. We're here to help you. Restart, recharge. Restart, recharge.
Aloha, everyone. I am Katie Ritter.
And I am Justin Thomas, and this is the Restart Recharge podcast, a podcast for coaches by coaches. We bring you the tips and tricks to help you in your everyday work as an instructional technology coach, or whatever they call you in your school district.
So hopefully you're going to leave this episode with us today feeling just a little bit less on your own coaching island.
And for this episode here today, we want to talk a little bit about diving into some holiday hacks to utilize your technology skills beyond the classroom. So we have Brooke, Conklin, and Tracee Keough here to share some of their favorite EdTech tools for getting organized, saving money, and staying on top of the holiday rush. So this might be a little bit more geared towards just you as the coach for your own personal gains throughout the holiday season here. So let's go ahead and introduce Brooke and Tracee, both rejoining us from prior episodes. But Brooke is a former middle school teacher turned instructional design coach. She serves primarily in pre-K to 12th grade public school district. Aside from coaching, Brooke is a mom of 3 and a home project connoisseur. Hello again, Brooke.
Thanks, Justin. Happy to be here.
Excellent. You ready to talk about some holiday hacks?
I am psyched to talk about some holiday hacks.
Psyched. Hopefully Tracee has the same kind of energy here, as Tracee was a classroom teacher for 11 years in 2nd grade and a 5th through 8th grade setting before taking on the role of an instructional design coach for the last 2 years, and with a focus on technology in the classroom. Currently, Tracee is a coach at a more rural school district here in Ohio. As a coach, Tracee has worked with educators to help them achieve their classroom and educational goals through coaching and mentorship. Welcome again, Tracee.
Thanks. I'm going to have to step up my energy here. Brooke's got it all bottled up over there.
Yeah, she does. And talking about energy, sometimes you might have a lot of energy heading into the holiday season, but then it starts to drain real quick when you start to think about everything that you need to do. Obviously, with this episode coming out, it's the beginning of November, so you're going to have Thanksgiving coming up, and then you got Christmas coming up. And really, November and December, I feel like, is somehow, they're 2 months, but really turns into just 1 month somehow, especially because we already got Christmas decorations out.
Right.
I don't know what's going on with that. But let's talk about how you can stay stress-free throughout this holiday season with some different holiday ideas for some holiday hacks. So let's first talk a little bit about getting organized through the holidays, because I know that's something I always struggle with.
Sure. And Justin, I have to say, I never really realized how much work the holidays were until I became a mom. It really takes a lot. I won't say it's not fun, but it is less fun. There is a whole lot of responsibility to make all the magic happen of the holiday season. And it can be a little bit draining. So we, Tracee and I are pros, I will say.
I would say so.
Experienced pros at our holiday shopping and holiday planning. So we know as coaches, coaching is one hat of many that you wear. But aside from coaching, and especially during the holiday season, there's a whole other wealth of responsibilities that you have to take on. And Tracee and I have found some creative ways to use our job skills for good.
That we have, and it helps. Like Brooke was saying, we're both moms. We're both wearing multiple hats. Even if you're not a parent, you still have to figure out how to organize, who's doing the secret elf project, or are we doing family trades, and what all that is going to look like.
What do you get for your boyfriend's dad who has everything?
Yeah. Do you get something? That's also the question. So when we were thinking about this topic, we were really thinking about first off, you have to be organized. You can't just go to the store. Like Brooke always says from our colleague Michael, you just don't throw the tools in the backyard and hope it turns into something. So this is kind of the same thing. You have to be organized to go to the stores and figure out what you're going to buy. Because trust me, if you don't have an organizational skill, you buy a lot of stuff your family probably doesn't need. Like the crock pot I bought one year that we didn't need. So
Well, that is true.
You spend hours in the
Right.
store and walk away with nothing in crowds of people.
or walk away with too much where you're like, they don't really need this, but I don't know what else to get them. So we're just going
Right.
to take it because it's here. So the first thing we were thinking about with getting organized, this is something that I do, is utilizing Google Sheets. So this is a
Okay.
skill we use as Edtech coaches. We work with our teachers. We can work with students on Google Sheets. But in your personal life, it's a great way to stay organized with family gifts and different things like that. I know for me, I put together a Google Sheet every year and I color code my kids out and then list the items that they have circled repeatedly in whichever Target, Walmart magazine has shown up early. And then color code it and send it out to my family. So my parents, my brother, my sister all have access to this sheet, and then they get to go in with their color and mark it that they've bought that item. So we don't have duplicates that show up, and everybody knows what they're getting. I put the price next to it, where we got it, whether it's Amazon or whatever, to really help organize it. But then it's not constant phone calls of, well, who got this? Because we're all spread out across the country. So it's nice to have one location to go in and see what they're getting so I know what I can get. It helps.
Yeah, that would be immensely helpful, Tracee. And I'm gonna share a little bit about my brother and sister-in-law because I don't think they listen to the podcast. But and I know that many of us are guilty of this. But often, as like the heads of household, you get asked like, "What does so and so want for Christmas or whatever holiday you're buying for?" And with my brother and sister-in-law, they often give like a list of 5 things to 10 people. so inevitably there's duplicates. Inevitably we're calling each other behind the scenes trying to figure out who's getting what, which Breyer horse
Right. Yeah.
they already have, which Breyer horse they want. And it just leaves a lot of like ambiguity to the process. And when you're doing that for like 20 cousins or multiple parents and parents-in-law, it can get pretty chaotic. So I love the idea of a Google Sheet, Tracee.
Yeah. Color code that and
Oh,
make
yeah.
it work for everybody. Share it out. Helps organize it all, which is nice. And I can always go back and be like, oh, yeah, I told them they could get that, so I can't grab it today. Kind of thing.
You're
which
being
is
like
helpful.
the master facilitator here on what all your kids are going to get for Christmas. And then you can choose the best gifts, right? The ones that they've been wanting the most, or do you save that for other folks?
I think for us, I try to push that out. I'm not going to lie. Some of the more expensive ones I'll put on specific lists. So that
Hopefully
grandma
they're
and
not
grandpa,
listening.
grandma and grandpa can buy that or whatever. Or we know that like, okay, we're doing this big present, so we can put the little ones out here, so that it's just more equitable that way. The nice thing is because you can have sheets on your phone, then I have it with me everywhere I go in whatever store I'm at when it's like, oh, I should look and see if they have this. So it's always nice too.
Much better than a hard copy list where, then you lose it in the first week of the holidays.
Yeah.
And then you're like, shoot, now I don't want to go ask them again. What do they want for Christmas? Yeah. We have like a Google Doc that really was actually set up by my in-laws on like what to get. Cause I am the worst
Go
person.
your in-laws. Look at those techie people.
I know, right? I'm the worst person to shop for, I will admit, because usually like Chelsea's asking me what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas? And I always just give her the same answer, which is team shirts. I want team shirts.
Of course, how many more can you get though?
Well, that's the I think I can get plenty more, but Chelsea thinks that maybe I don't need, like an 100 Ohio State shirt. But anyway, so, I'm like, I don't know. And then I never really think about it that much. So like, I mean, we've already put out the list now. So now I'm like obligated to put some information on there of what I need for Christmas. Cause it's usually one of those things where there's things that I need, but I don't really think about it until like I need it at that moment. Like, oh, I
Right.
could really use this. So then we got the Google Doc out there. I'm supposed to just like think about it, like, oh, I need this, and then you run and like put it on there. But like you said, get that
it on your
Drive app
phone.
there and put it on your phone. It's a
Well, the
good
great
to
thing
have.
about Google Docs or Sheets for apps is that it's like a living live document. Because I
Yeah.
know my kids are guilty of as soon as the next holiday catalog comes out, there's something new they want. So you don't have to like send a separate text or you can just add it onto the Google Doc and then everybody has access to that update.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One thing my family uses are shared Amazon lists. So I would say a large portion of our audience probably uses the platform Amazon.
Probably.
But on Amazon, you can make different lists. So if you didn't know that, you can go to your Amazon account. You can, I think by default you have like your wish list, but you can add multiple lists. So I have one for each of my kids. I have one for myself. My husband has his own list. And then you can add items to that list from Amazon. You can also add things not from Amazon, which I'll share in a minute. But anyways, you add things to that list, and then I just share the link out with my friends or family that are trying to purchase things for us, and they can save it to their own Amazon account. So then when they go in, they go to their lists, there's an option to see your friends' lists. They can click on that, and then they can see all of our family's lists. When you purchase it, it automatically takes it off that list, which is really awesome. So if like Aunt Laura buys a doll or something, it immediately comes off that list. So you don't have to worry about duplicates, which is really awesome. And then the other thing is my family lives in Arkansas, and then we have family out in Washington, D.C., probably other places that I'm forgetting right now. But so anyway, point being, we have family kind of all over the place that we may or may not see for Christmas. So with the Amazon list and purchasing things through Amazon, our home address is tied to that list. So if a person purchases something from the list, then they can choose to have it shipped to our house. So they don't have to pay for shipping separately, which is really nice.
And yeah, that's what I was thinking, because my brother and sister-in-law live in California and grandparents are out in Arizona. But having that Amazon list where it like can just ship right to you makes life a lot easier versus they have to go buy it, find a box that fits, and I swear shipping prices are higher during the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. I went to ship a toy truck last holiday, and they were going to charge me $300 to send it from Ohio to California. It's like, it's a $20 toy.
Was it an 18-wheeler, though? What
No.
kind of truck was this?
It was a dump truck, like a Tonka dump truck.
Well, those are pretty heavy.
Not the plastic
In real life.
ones.
Not the
real
plastic
life,
ones.
So I love the idea of like using that Amazon wish list, creating them for everybody and sharing those out.
Capitalize on that Prime account.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
They're my Edtech coach friends. We're all pretty familiar with extensions. We probably have a set of our favorite extensions, and we're going to talk about a couple today, I think. But one of them particularly helpful for the Amazon lists. If you do want to organize your holiday shopping with lists, there is an extension. It's called Amazon Assistant, and it adds it to your Chrome web bar. So in my early years of using Amazon lists, I did become frustrated because I wanted things from like Crate and Barrel or Pottery Barn, and you couldn't add them from Amazon. So with the Amazon Assistant extension, you can be shopping on any shopping website that you want, and if you find an item that you like, click on that Amazon Assistant extension, and it automatically pulls up like an add to list option. So you can add items from other stores to your Amazon list, and you can designate which list you want it to go to.
Okay.
So that has been really helpful, and just making sure that like we're able to utilize other things than just what Amazon has in stock. The thing to note about that is a little bit different, though, is that if someone purchases an item that you've added using the Amazon Assistant, so like an item from a different store, it doesn't automatically take it off the list. So they will have to like mark that they've purchased it.
Okay.
But it is a really handy resource. I think it also might do like a price comparison and run the prices to see if there's a lower one. I'm not sure on that, but I think I've seen that on there.
I will say she showed me this last week and I was mind blown. Like, it is simply a click of a button using your extensions, and you can have any website, attach it to your Amazon, keep it all in one spot, which again goes back to helping organization or those random like one-off. You can only buy it through XYZ and how to get it onto that list. And it was like, she just it was done.
Done.
It's
Put
great.
on the list. And with it being a extension on your Chrome, I mean, you could be somewhere else and just need to maybe borrow someone's computer, sign in, get your Chrome set up, and then add it in there, so
Continue shopping.
continue shopping, because I know that's, for me, it's in one ear and out the other unless I do it really quick. So awesome. Those are some really good hacks there for kind of getting things organized for the holidays.
I will say we have one more.
One more. Okay,
that our
dive in.
co-host Katie does regularly is she likes to keep a running note in her phone.
Oh, yes.
So whenever an idea comes for someone that she, whether it's her nieces or nephews or other family, whenever there's a great idea of like a shopping present for birthdays or holidays, she has a running note in her phone. So she can just tell Suri to add it to whatever list or go into that note and type it in. And then they're always there right on your phone, as like you said, Justin, when you're not really sure, but in that moment in July where you're like, this could be really great. I don't need it now, but, and you know, if you're like me, you forget within a week.
Yeah.
This way you put it on your notes and you always have it to go back to.
It does seem like my father-in-law always comes up with things he wants in June.
Right.
And then come like November, I have no clue what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that people are coming up with that kind of stuff in June or July, and like the fact that you put it on the notes and then you're like, what can I get for Christmas? And you're like, oh yeah, they said that like 3 months back.
Yeah.
Now we can put it on there. That is.
And then you're the favorite daughter-in-law because you remembered.
Right.
And you remember. And all it was a little technology.
Just a
on your
note
phone.
on your phone.
Absolutely. Yeah. See, Chelsea's my wife, by the way, for everyone out there, but she does the same thing with various things like the grocery list and stuff, but she also will put that on there. She's way more organized than I am. And I'm willing to say that. Awesome. So we got some really good ideas on organizing things, but now let's talk a little bit about something that everyone wants to do, and that's save money, because you don't want to spend that much money shipping a toy truck out to California, right? So are there some hacks that you guys have figured out here in our EdTech world that you can save some cash money with?
Sure. So one, I think that all of us use regularly. It's another extension. It's called Honey, if you haven't heard of it. I use this all the time. I think that my husband gets annoyed sometimes by it. But Honey, it is both an extension and then there's also a smartphone app that you can use. But it kind of runs in the background while you're shopping online. And when you go to check out, so you put all your stuff in your cart online, go to checkout, Honey searches the internet for like any possible coupon code, promo code that's out there, and it automatically like will rapid fire plug them in, and it picks out which one saves you the most money, and then automatically applies that to your cart. So it is particularly successful with like Walgreens if you're ordering like your Christmas cards through Walgreens or holiday cards. And then Panera normally has a coupon code out there that you can get through Honey. There are tons of them, but you don't have to worry about like remembering what the banner said at the top of the website for you to enter in holiday 25 or whatever.
Right.
Honey will take care of that for you, automatically apply it to your cart and save you money.
Wow.
Yeah. And then just going back to the other extension that Brooke mentioned with the Amazon Assistant and how easy that is to, like you said, any device that you're on with your Chrome, you can just use that assistant on there to bring things into Amazon lists from other websites and other sources to keep things all in one location for easy storage and remembering, which is great. Saving money as well. Both Brooke and I talked about this is something we do going back to Google Sheets. So not only can you utilize it to organize and share out with families of what tools or what toys or whatever you're trying to get, you can also use your sheets for a budget. So we both do this, setting up a price budget for each one of our children at this point, and then being able to kind of calculate it out as far as this toy is going to cost this will be this. Okay. Do we have even amounts of stuff going? So it's a great way to organize and budget within Sheets.
Yeah. You guys might not believe this out there, but the podcast and tech coaching has not made us multimillionaires. So
Not yet.
Not yet. So we, my husband and I will typically sit down. We start in, I think the end of August is when we normally do it, but using Google Sheet, we map out like all of the people that we expect to buy gifts for, exactly how much money we're budgeting for all of them. And then we will have like a separate column for how much we've spent using a really basic formula. We also plug in for a third column that tells us how much money we have left remaining for them. And then we will kind of take how much money we need starting in August, and then we'll start kind of putting that away and budgeting from August to November. And Google Sheets makes that super easy to keep track of and make sure that like Tracee said, you're not overspending. Everybody is kind of budgeted and spent how you expect to. And then it's also collaborative. So it's something that my husband and I can both access and keep tabs on.
I will say I'm really impressed you start in August.
Yeah.
I'm
Like I said,
November
Tracee,
one.
we are not multimillionaires.
We aren't either, but I'm like a November one, like, oh yeah, we have to get this ready to go kind of a person. So that's how our family rolls. But good for you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
start early, guys.
we were talking a little bit before this. I mean, I'm like, it's it's the week of Christmas. I probably should figure something out here pretty quick and you guys are like, August and like the beginning of November.
Different
and you got
strokes for
your
different
sheets.
folks.
I will point out, Justin said he's old school and likes to go walk through the mall
I do.
the week of Christmas to find presents, which is probably one of the worst locations
Oh,
to be
yeah.
in the week
I am
before a
picturing
holiday.
Justin putting on those like white old man sneakers. Was that like the
Yes,
New
like the
Balance?
Velcro.
Yeah, Velcro New Balance with his team shirt walking through the mall.
Yeah, power walking.
Maybe I should tuck in the team shirt. I don't tuck in the team shirt, but maybe I should.
You should.
Maybe I should. I felt like I got clowned on there. I'm not that old out here on the podcast. I just like to look out. I've picked up some things online because hyperlinks too is really simple, easy. I mean, maybe that was something you guys are going to talk about in our next segment. But the idea is that on that Google Doc, okay, I find a Bengals shirt that I like. Just link that straight into the
Then you get
into the
this
doc.
exact one you want.
Exactly. It's not like saying like, oh, I want this specific black Bengals shirt that says Cincinnati Bengals football on it, and then you're wandering around. Of course, there's like 30,000 of those out there, and then maybe it's not exactly the one, but obviously hyperlinks are something good.
There
to
you
have.
go.
Control K.
Control K. Yeah. All right, let's take a moment to hear from our sponsors, but when we come back, we'll talk about staying on top of the holiday rush.
Looking for a program that reaches all teachers and learning new tools to integrate in their lessons? Edu Badges is the answer. Edu is an anytime, anywhere badging program that is designed to take bite-sized tools for instruction and teach teachers how to use them. Edu has received the ISTE Seal of Alignment for educator standards, and each badge in our expanding library is aligned to the ISTE standards and the SAMR model. Learn more about the program that teachers call addicting at forward-edge.net/edubadges.
Instructional coaches support teachers, students, administrators, and really everyone in the district. In fact, research shows that instructional coaching is one of the most impactful forms of professional development that results in improved teacher instruction and student achievement. But who is supporting the coach? Forward Edge provides multiple year-long mentorship options recommended by the Google for Education Certified Coach Program to help you gain the valued support you need as an instructional coach. Visit forward-edge.net to start giving PD to the ultimate PD providers. Welcome back to the Restart Recharge podcast. Justin Thomas here, flying solo on the hosting duties, but I do have Brooke Conklin and Tracee Keough here. We're talking about holiday hacks and using those Edtech tools here for you coaches on what you can do to make the holiday season hopefully a little less stressful. And we've talked a little bit about staying organized, getting organized with everything, including budgeting as well, so saving a little bit of money out there for you folks. But let's talk a little bit about how you actually stay on top of the holiday rush, because I always feel like it's one of those things where, boom, it just happens. It's like this tidal wave of the holidays, and we want you to be able to surf that wave and not, just be drowned. Yeah. So what are some ideas that you guys have on staying on top of that holiday rush using our Edtech tools?
So I know we both talked about this and kind of trying to figure out what are some great ways to stay on top of that rush. And like you said, it just kind of shows up and then all of a sudden it's time to have presents and 30 seconds later you're done. So we talked about pre-planning your orders. So especially right now with the world the way it is, there's going to be shipping delays. Everything's kind of pushed back. Even if it says it's going to arrive by this date, expect probably a week or two later to some degree, depending on where it's shipping from. So to Brooke's great ideas here, planning starting in August will really be helpful. Obviously, we're in October, so maybe getting started in the next week or two to kind of look at those things. If there's specific toys or specific t-shirts or whatever that are going to be popular, starting to jump on that bandwagon and get those things ordered, so at least if there is a shipping delay, you're not hoping that it shows up on time, but you can find a place to stash it and really make sure. And I think a lot of websites are doing a really good job right now of like posting if there's shipping delays or if they're having trouble getting things, so that you know that might not be the best option, or get it early just in case.
Yeah, and if you're using a Google Sheet for your lists, you could easily add another column for kind of like a projected buy date. So we tend to know or have like a general idea of which things are going to take longer. So like, for instance, one of the things that's on our list this year is the ever so popular Nugget Couch for toddlers. Tracee's looking at me like she doesn't know what it is.
No idea what a nugget couch is. I see a chicken nugget in my head.
You, people in our audience will know what a nugget couch is. But
We'll have
it's
to put that as
basically
a poll to see if that's.
we will.
true. Okay.
Social media team.
Yep. Lock in. All right.
So the Nugget Couch, for those who are now curious, is it's for like littler kids. It's just a piece of flexible furniture. So it has like a couple of cushions, some different like back supports.
I know what this is. Okay.
But you can like rearrange the pieces of the couch to be all kinds of different things. So you can make them into a fort, you can make them into a couch, you can make them into a bed.
It reminds me of like the mats at toddler gym. So
Yes.
if you've ever been at gymnastics, these are like the wedges that your kids might play on, but they're made to be more like a couch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now that very important point has been clarified,
It is very important.
the Nugget Couch does typically take a little bit longer to ship out.
Because everyone wants one.
Everyone knows what they are. Everyone wants one.
So,
Ship within
So
2
with
weeks?
Google Sheets, I know that that's something that I probably don't want to wait until like December 20th to put my order in for. So on my Google Sheets, I can try to like prioritize the items that I'm wanting to buy for different people and put like a buy date or however you want to set that up. But with Sheets, you can do filtering and sorting, so you can quickly see like which items you need to buy this week or next week, and kind of schedule a timeline for yourself. You could also use like conditional formatting to highlight items in red that are like past due to buy. Things like gift cards, are going to be pretty available, so those could be low priority on your Google Sheet. But yeah, that I think would be a helpful thing to help stay on top of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the other kind of idea, and we've started doing this in our house too, is using Google Calendar reminders. So especially for those like super critical things that you want to make sure that you buy, that you can't just walk into a store anytime and get. Maybe it's something that has like customization and you have to order it way in advance. You can set up a reminder on Google Calendar to remind you when to do it. Cool thing about reminders is that they won't go away unless you mark that you have done them. So even if you like go past that date, it'll keep showing up on the following days that you need to take care of that.
Yeah, I love the Google Reminders piece. I don't utilize that enough for sure. But it's also nice, like Brooke said, it doesn't disappear unless you tell it to go away. So it's constantly nagging in the background if you don't get to it on the day that you were hoping to.
Yeah.
Which is also very helpful. So yeah, staying on top of that holiday rush, just making sure that you're keeping track of when things are due, using your Google Sheets, using Google Calendar reminders, sharing those reminders with another person in your house might also be helpful, so that everybody can make sure we're getting what we need.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll share a little holiday hack that my brother did. So last year, the one of the soccer teams, like Columbus Crew, they won the MLS Cup, and he bought me a scarf, but it was so back ordered that it didn't come in time. So what he did was he hopped on, on Google and went and found some images of the logo and the MLS Cup, and then he printed those out and cut them out and then slapped them on just a normal scarf. And I was a little confused when I pulled it out, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Well, I didn't come in time. This is a placeholder." So, if you have that's another holiday hack in a way, using technology to,
recreate what you are buying because it didn't show up in time.
Exactly. Yep. I was a little confused when the colors, was like green and gray instead of, black and gold. But so that's another little holiday hack that I'll toss out there as well. Is there anything else that you kind of had on the back of your mind for a different type of holiday hack? We kind of talked about some of the key ones here.
Yeah, I would say, depending on, we've talked a lot about like shopping, but I think another part of the holidays that we all get wrapped up in is food planning, which is insane.
Which we use a Google Doc for. So what day, or especially when we know there's multiple family members coming into town, it's like, okay, Friday we're eating this. What do we need at the grocery store? Saturday we're eating this, and really planning out and writing down everything that you're going to need for that meal so that you don't forget something, because the grocery stores are crazy.
Yeah.
Like any other store during a holiday season.
Shared document is also a great way for different people in the family to write out what they're going to bring, so you don't end up with 5 green bean casseroles and 1 chocolate pie, because that's a ratio no one likes.
Yeah,
is not
we
a
need more
ratio
chocolate
like-
pie in that ratio for sure.
My family tends to be the opposite. We go like overboard on desserts, and then nobody brings the vegetables or the sides.
Like,
Who's
okay,
making the turkey?
we're gonna have a couple rolls, and then we'll dive into dessert here.
Yeah,
the ideas.
absolutely. So yeah, shopping with food and kind of organizing travel plans and having all of that available, all on those tools that we're already using to help teachers. And then to turn around and be like, hey, I know you're super stressed about this, because we all are. Like, have you thought about using it this way? So can you help not only yourself, but your teachers with all these things too?
Yeah. Sometimes we just have to put our skills to use for our own good.
Yes.
There's a
Absolutely.
time to be a little selfish, my fellow Edtech coach friends.
That there is.
And the time is now for the holiday season.
And if you're like Brooke and you started in August, congratulations. You are ahead of the game, and that is great news.
There's always next year.
There's always next year.
Or if you're like me, you still got about another month and a half before you really dive into the holiday shopping.
So
here.
our goal is, now that Justin has learned all these EdTech hacks,
Yes.
we're going to get him started on November 1st.
Yeah, see, I
Not too far in advance.
I really needed this episode to
You're
figure
welcome.
out some things. Now I'm gonna have to hold you two accountable for setting those up for me, and then maybe just doing it for me as well.
We'll just teach you how to set them up, but we think you can handle the rest of it.
We'll loop Chelsea in. She'll
Yeah.
hold you accountable.
There we
okay,
go.
well there you go, because I think she might be able to do that. Yeah. Guys, you're using your EdTech, you're helping the other, coaches and teachers and things like that. Awesome. Well, hopefully this has given you a little bit of some new EdTech ideas on how you can conquer those holiday situations and keep that stress at a minimum. We actually are going to be moving into our final episode in 2 weeks, so make sure you tune in for that. I can't believe that we've already hit the season finale here for season 1. It's been a lot of fun, and we've had some really good guests on to talk about some awesome ideas. So make sure you tune in for this final episode, which will be taking a little bit of a break after that till about next January, not July. Got my J months mixed up there. So you're talking about how you're all set in like July and August, and that's
Stuck in your head, huh?
stuck in my head there. So next January-ish is when we'll be taking a break here after season 1. But make sure you tune in for this final episode. It will be a good one. We're going to be talking about the importance of storytelling. So Michael Roush will be on to explain why storytelling with our schools is so valuable. We'll have special guest Ryan McLean on as well. He'll join us to talk about his book, Your School Rocks, So Tell People. Both are great storytellers, and we are excited to have them here on the season finale. So I'm excited to see what they both have on slate for talking about the importance of storytelling.
Absolutely. Should be a good one.
So be sure to subscribe to Restart Recharge wherever you are listening to podcasts, to follow us also on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook at RRCoachcast. Make sure that if you have any ideas for the upcoming season that you are reaching out to us talking about those, and we'll get those on slate for the next season. As always, make sure you feel free to reach out to us about any topics or any ideas, and just reach out to us and say hello. We like to see all of our
We'd love to
listeners out
interact
there.
with everybody out there.
Absolutely. So press the restart button, recharge your coaching batteries, and leave feeling equipped and inspired to coach fearlessly with the Restart Recharge podcast.
Edtech Coach Collective.